Right, so peace. Divine understanding, born of all. Alright, so there's two emails. One we already addressed, so I'm not going to address that one. It's been shown and proved. Right? Next one is the original man. That was shown and proved already too. All right. I'll see right here. That was shown and proved. Right? 1963, 1964. Because what happened was, I'll just give you a little background. The story was based on 1963, 1964, 1965. So everyone looked through history, those dates and times. Not just in America, but look throughout the world. See, you want a full circle of what's going on in that era, in that day and time. And you use the 10-10-63, that'd be like your root number. And 10-10-64. Use those as your root numbers. Of course, in real time, you know, the dimensions are changing because things are happening at the same time. So you make it linear and you might say it's 63, but you really could argue it was 62 when the captain told him he couldn't teach that here, or whenever that took place, or when he came with the determined idea. Because when the captain said that, he had already been teaching that. And so that's when the captain said that. He wouldn't have said that on day one. See how time is fluctuating? So it could be like 1962 where it's born, right? And then if you take it on up into the other dates, you know that history on our side. But what was going on in Vietnam, right? You had Vietnam, definitely. The Nam, on and popping, right? We had the Nam. You had Watts. You had Black Panthers. You had Nation of Islam, Malcolm. Martin Luther King. Medgar Evers. Those major players were activating the ethers. And so the story goes, they gave their physical composition, not for civil rights. That's not what they gave their composition for. They gave their composition for simple things like get rid of Jim Crow, get rid of the black codes. That's what it was really about. Civil rights. We was trying to get rid of Jim Crow and black codes. Separate but equal. Now that, when we went into separate but equal, that's when we went into equality. What is equality? You know, and then we got into the earth and the moon and the DNA structure, the X and the Y and the X and the X. Feel me? So the earth and the moon, and symbolic to the planet Earth that we all live on. You should treat the earth better. You live on her and you don't take care of her. See how it went right into that? And then you don't. You pillage her and you treat her like she's not alive. Like if she's just an inanimate object. That's when we went into that equality, the earth and moon. All right. And then what was the next build was, I'm recalling this. What was the next build? Oh, it was paleontology, paleo diet. That's what happened. We were looking at the paleo diet. that hunting gathering type food versus grain. That's when we went into grain and wheat, and that enabled the group to look at agriculture. You see how you keep building on. We go into agriculture, where you go right back into that equality. Earth, planet Earth. I mean, we live on Earth. It's really all planets are equality. They matter. Anything that takes up space is matter. That's equality. You feel me? The earth and the moon, the wisdom and the equality is matter. Anything that takes up space. You don't think the earth and the moon taking up space inside in the sun's solar system, right? And that took us into also, once we went into the solar system and went to the paleo diet, right? Paleontology. Then the next step was, what happened? I'm trying to think. They went into what they call the Greek. Well, they went into the Greek gods because the name in the solar facts were Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, right? Jupiter. Jupiter was the king of the gods. And so that was Roman religion. That was the religion before the Romans took on the one God, the Yahweh. They had Juno. Green Book. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that was Baal. Baal. So, that was that one. And then, you take it to the next level. They say, they look at agriculture because a paleo diet will go good with agriculture at the same time. Grain is inherently not the greatest tasting. Grain was usually used in those times when we couldn't grow, because you had to do things by season. So if you lived in a region that got a little colder than, say, a tropical region within the Tropic of Capricorn, the Tropic of Cancer, if you're in that region, you never had to worry about eating grain, except for unless you had a big population around you and you was trying to feed a big population and they eat a lot of food, a lot of people together in one place. It's not really good. People wouldn't normally do that unless you can bring food to that part like that together, to bring them all together like that. Has to be based on food is the foundation to whatever they're doing. You can think it's not. It's food and procreation. That's the two things that override everything else. Doesn't matter unless it's a abnormality. And those happen too, because you have abnormalities. But if you're going to indulge yourself in abnormalities, then there's not much you can get out of it except for a mule. That's really what you end up having, is a mule. So, in the sense of the word, like, it won't reproduce. So that could be like a mechanism within the original seeds and in the DNAs. Might be typed into the DNA, because I think that goes back before the food was bad. So it can't be that. It could be part of the mechanism to keep population down. You don't know. All I know is it happens. And why deal with why it happens? Why not deal with what is happening? And say, okay, anything dealing with procreation and that personal, intimate, man, leave that shit right where it's at. Personal and intimate in that world. Who gives a fuck? Except for them. right? That makes people have relationships, and people have relationships based on that kind of shit. So people have to interact with each other, and they got to interact with people who think the same way they think and do what they do. It is what it is. So in that fact, the mathematics is right and exact. It doesn't go against it. It's just not in the mathematics over here, because we dealing with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So it's a different setup. It's a different way of coming to some type of knowledge of self. We aim towards producing knowledge of self children without needing to counteract the self-degradation that is imposed on the original people in the wilderness of North America. That's a fact. It is what it is. So once you take it to that level, you say, all right, boom, let's go to the knowledge and the wisdom. And once that is complete, you pretty much have what you need. The next thing is you need a trade or a profession. But there's your remedy, get the trade or profession. You don't have to worry about all that other shit. That's what you need to get now. Get that. Because you got your math, you got your alphabet, you got 120. You definitely need a trade or a profession. That'll put you there, because if you go back to the first degree, which is the 61st degree in 120, see, that's what I was saying when I said, depending on what you're talking about, whether it's equal to, just like 61 could be equal to 1. Because that's pertaining to that. That's equal. Not the actual degree. But if you're saying, oh, so if you're saying knowledge and wisdom bring about the understanding, yes, okay, who's the first one that got to touch the baby? See, that all depends on, see, they show you how mathematics work. People might say, oh, they think it's a baby when it comes out of the womb, and the first person that touched it, that's the first person that touched the baby. And that's true, too, in that sense when it came out of the womb. Right, you ain't supposed to let no one be the first ones to touch your baby, but you and yours. That's it, your two, or your baby, your other children, whatever. It's supposed to be y'all the first ones to touch the baby. The bond to be there, right? Make that inquisition, stop the inquisition. If you stop the inquisition, that sets it up so that everything else can come out right. Exactly. Or you aim that way. You might not do it, but you aim in that way. Okay, sometimes a goal is unachievable to you, but your next seed, keep that lesson there. They might get it. Maybe they'll come out and be a nurse or something, and a doctor or whatever. Whatever they're gonna do, they might have a nurse come private. Back in the days, we used to have those, I forget the name we called it. It was so long ago when we did that shit. But it was like, I guess nowadays, the nation was using their own LPNs and RNs. That's how they were doing it, but you can do that still. We have RNs and LPNs in the African American population. They just don't work together. We have everything that you need. We already have it. It's not like you gotta get these trades or professions as a nation. You don't. Individual, you people coming in now, y'all need that. I want y'all to get that. That's the rule. The rule is just what I said. That's the rule. Believe that. Now, if you're saying, oh, how did you get it? That's different. People, everybody didn't get it the same way. Some people got it by an enlightenment right with them all the time. Some people went to the rally and got it at the rally in the law school. And then they got it enlightenment or however they got it. But once we all made it, we all agreed on certain things. It just depends on what you agreed on. What was your agreement with thyself, Lord and Master? What's your agreement? Did you make an agreement? If you made an agreement, stick to that agreement and you're good. You know if you're not sticking to the agreement. Alright, so we ain't gonna dwell on that. Not dealing with that. That's not the remedy. We're dealing with a real remedy for right now. Like what's going on like right now? Well, what's our current event move? You gotta have a current event move. Right? You've seen all the other moves. Oh, I forgot. Before we get to the current event, I don't want to get in deep in it, but the current event move is no wheat, no starch, no sugar, no soy, no dairy. I know we're gonna all slip, but at least for God's sake, don't fuck with the wheat. That's what's killing you right now, because that bovine is in the dairy and the eggs and shit, but nah, it ain't doing what that wheat is doing with that Agent Orange in it. They can call it Roundup all they want, but it's Agent Orange. They putting it in the food, and they telling me that the guide stones and all that. See, that's where it leads into that. See the correlation? I keep bouncing into certain shit, and then it is what it is. But okay, now we get back grounded, back to the root. Like, where are you at? All right. So that's pretty much how you'd roll with it, right? At the end of the day, you need the trade and the profession. Gotta get that, son. Profession. But when you say trade or, but and or. Some people got trade and profession like Bar and Jamel and them. They got trade and profession. They got, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go that way. You got self-employed people like Under and all them, True, all them, they doing, come on, all them. See, it's how you do it. You gotta do it, right? So, you just start, you knew it. You knew Jackson, everybody, on both sides. Because usually you going, what is the foundation? You're going to find a wisdom, myself, divine sacred master. You're going to show her the lessons. You're going to see the mathematics in it and born herself to be that equality. And next thing she on, she the queen now, everything good, right? And y'all build and add on and show and prototype. You know that from the gate. You're trying to do that anyway, just not using that mathematical equation. You're doing it by nature. By nature, we're going after food and procreation. Now you're getting clothes and all that because to get food and to get procreation, all that kind of goes together with you gotta have clothes. That's why your 12 Jews come into play, where you got your food, clothing, and your shelter. That's sum up the 12 Jews, right? You get that lesson. Like the God gave us our 12 Jews after we had mathematics out there, 12 Jews. He showed us that's where they put it at. He said they have agreed that if it was going anywhere, we go after the mathematics alphabet 12 Jews. You never hear them say mathematics alphabet, and they might not use 12 Jews and go right to 120, but I never heard of anything else being in between 120 and alphabets. I never heard them say mathematics alphabets and J.A. Rogers and 120. You feel me? I'm just using that as an example. So you see, so they don't do that. That's not what happens. So you kill me. But I'm saying that you go from knowledge and wisdom, then you understand it. So we're not gonna go back and forth with if you have them or you don't have them. If you think you ain't got them, whatever. It ain't 120, so it is what it is. Who made it, Abu, and all these other, whatever. You know, at the end of the day, when I got these lessons, all I saw was the 9 born, they told us about the father. When I first got it, I didn't even know he wasn't there. The way everybody was talking, I thought he was still in Harlem. And I was like, oh, I want to go to temple number 7 and see him. And he was like, ain't no temple. That's why I related it with Charlene and Wing Chun, because I was like, right, they don't got a temple in Wing Chun either. It goes together. The temple got sacked, it fell, whatever went down. Same thing on that side, not a brick shop he left one standing. That degree, I know I remember that lesson, right? Okay, See, that's why I said it ain't just 120, because there was certain stuff we had, like you knew certain lessons on the father. We kind of quoted those air particle and a clot of blood. That was like part of the curriculum. You know what I'm saying? General Monk, well, I had all of that. I mean, when the guard said, "Oh, it was just General Monk shall improve the 1,100." All right, that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, we're going back to the remedy. So we noticed that these are people that have been in this nation for a minute. We already did the test. We noticed that the food, contrary to modern Western teachings, I want to say teachings because even their scientists know that's a crock, that's a load of bullshit. That your DNA is set. No, certain parts of your DNA are set. Other parts are malleable like water. And you can change what you want to change with what you feed it. Your body uses it to activate shit. You can activate certain parts of your DNA right now if you put the right food in you. Change a whole lot of shit up. Especially when they're young. If you do it to younger, the better. See, and that goes right back to procreation right now. What I said. It depends on when you think you touch the baby. You thinking it's a baby when it comes out. No, it's a baby when the air particles in a clot of blood attach itself to the uterus wall. That's when it's a baby. Once it attaches itself to the uterus wall, it's a baby. You're in there already. Whether you're in a full conscious state or not, you become more conscious as time goes on. If you got your full 120 years of elevating into your consciousness of that physical body, you'll be at peak finishing, but you never get there because you kill yourself by eating the wrong food. You don't try to even increase the convolutions on your brain. You're not even trying because you keep going after food and the gods of that are not of your ancestors. That's a fact. Even the Europeans need to go back to their old shit. Stop fucking with the new shit. This new shit is gonna drive you crazy. Cause this new shit is anything goes, anything you can do, and you don't give a fuck. If it's bad and you don't get caught, it's still all good. What kind of fucked up world is that? You think this shit is like exact? And see now what happens when anything goes. We gonna kill up all the animals, we gonna fuck up the fauna. We gonna kill up all the people. We gonna poison the countries, the land. We gonna cause mayhem. That's what the fuck you see when anything goes. We don't give a fuck. And we don't really give a fuck. And these babies is I don't give a fuck. And you blaming the babies. And the babies is just a reflection of what the fuck is going on for real. You feel me? There was a time when we listened to those rappers and poets and last poets and all that and knew they were saying the truth, what they were saying. They're not telling you a story. That sound like a story. You saying, oh, they're not doing that. No, they're not doing it because they're singing about it and making $1 million for singing. But you're not listening to what they're singing about. If they're singing about it, that's what the fuck they're doing as a group. They're doing it, and the shit you're doing was what made them do what they're doing. Prove it. Okay, I'm gonna give you a for instance. I'm gonna talk about us. Remember when we used to go to the rally, and the guards would say, do more and all of them. They would say, pull up your pants. They didn't like it when we was showing the elastic part of our pants, did they? They didn't like that shit. Or they wanted us to wear suits. We started wearing real baggy shit. And it was hanging off as we would tie our belts tight and put it so we could show our underwear, but we just were showing the top. I know y'all remember that shit, so don't fucking blame them. Say they just went, it got lower and lower as shit got the next level. Now look at them, they type of shit. So blame your fucking self. Alright? Now that you know who really started that shit, you gotta get that other shit in them. Get that knowledge yourself, they'll pull their pants up. They don't got knowledge yourself, they don't think that's the gangster shit to do. Cause this world is about being gangster and all that. You really gotta say, okay, you can't stop it. It's flowing that way. Why make it, why try to stop it? Go again? No, ride it like a surfboard and empower them to ride this crazy shit. And you empower them with a trade and or profession. That's how you empower. See, me personally, I be trying to say, yo, do this. Get the trade and get the profession. You need both. It's on and popping out here. You need both. Once you got that, you don't gotta go crazy. Get you a trade and a profession and hold that down and then keep improving on it and open up your own shit. See, at the end of the day, you just open up your own shit. That's the immediate remedy that helps fix you personally, right quick. Your little family structure, you good. That don't fix the nation, because in the nation already has every trade, every profession. We've been everything all the way back, even after Jim Crow and all that. We still was doing what we do, but we don't do it together. So, but that's gonna come in time, and I'm saying we can't be waiting on that, because like I said, it goes right back to the first degree, to 61. Why 61 is equal to 1, because 61 and 120 is 1 and the 1 to 40. That's why. So probabilistically, that would be how they did. In probabilistic, they was just doing it with the ancient teachings and the ancient lessons, and they was doing that same folding of space. All right, that's what they're doing, and that's why those letters, those numbers go together, make you think that it's the same. No, equal is not. Equal is equal. It doesn't mean that we different and we equal. No, motherfucker. If you equal, you the same. So, in all actuality, no one is equal. We're all different. We're like fingerprints. But we're also the same. Why? How do you know we're all the same? Kind of, you got differences in degrees, but the species itself, it can all intermingle and keep making babies without no mule coming, and then that means it's the same. Right? The babies can keep making other babies, and it can just amalgamate and miscegenate, and it's been doing it. I don't have to prove that. Just look, it's been doing it. We can go right here and look wherever you're at. You can see it. So that's a proven fact right there. Boom. And you can't. And then the other part is the convolutions on the brain. You might try to act like that and keep it hidden and all that, but we know that if you do real research, scientists and everything every motherfucker got some motherfuckers that's way off the chain in their brain. They come out off the chain. Alright? So that shows that's not right and exact. That doesn't work, and the math doesn't say it's that way either. It says it's the other way, like what we say. So what are you saying? See, that's what I'm talking about. If you take it that way, if you're saying equal, you and her can never be equal. She can do shit you ain't never gonna be able to do, and you can do shit she's never gonna be able to do. That's not what they got you confused on. Oh, if we not equal, then we're then this ain't gonna work. You see, you got the devil confusing you. The inequality of the species inside of itself. The knowledge ain't never the same as the wisdom, and the wisdom's not the same as the understanding. Each degree of yourself is in different manifestations. That depends on what's going down. Trust me, you don't want no bitch-ass motherfucker for your husband. Motherfuckers are coming to bring it. You want somebody gonna pull out their sword and fight with them and protect the family. Of course, if this woman can fight, that's an add-on to the cipher, but I don't know if it looks all that great if she's the one whooping ass and you back there bullshitting. It looked better if she was back there bullshitting and you was whooping ass. So that's what I'm saying. In that knowledge and wisdom now. If she's giving birth, then she's gonna be the wisdom or the equality, and them other wisdoms, that self-divine type of man, are gonna be there with wisdoms. You're not even in the picture in that particular moment. might be there to come out and be the father and touch the head and bring it out and do the whole behold, da-da-da-da, right? Depending on how you do it. Anyway, bringing out that baby, you touching it first. You know that's knowledge of self. So if you knowledge yourself, you gonna make sure your babies get you gonna be the ones with your babies first. You ain't gonna be letting people who colonized us take our babies now. Those days are over. We supposed to be way past advanced than that. All right, but like I said, even if you don't come together as one group and do it, it's okay, because you can do it individually. You can do it until everything gets together. What does that bring us back to? 61 and 1. See, it's not like I'm going anywhere. I'm still in the same degree. That's why I keep saying math is vast like that. You gotta be able to look and see the whole picture. And it's not easy, it takes time, but you always have those remedies that you can use at work right now. As soon as you walk out, that's why I said the correlation. Look at things and correlate it together. It makes it much easier to remember. That's the exercise. Oh, 61 and 1. That's like saying the first degree and the 1 to 40. Right. Or the quality knowledge degree and 120. That's what I'm talking about. I like to look at that, because if you get that degree, you get a lot of package with it, because it also shows you 2,083.33 years, and then it shows you 25,000 years, and it shows you that's a cycle, and then you can see how the zodiac is moving and how the planets is rotating and everything. All right. The sun, moon, and stars, everything is manifesting and moving. There's nothing standing still. Everything vibrates, everything rotates, everything's standing. Nothing is standing still. Everything is moving. That's how it's really going down. As opposed to below all that, right? But we're not going way out into space and everything, because you can do that on your own. The part you're missing is the correlation. Once you can correlate each degree, you'll be able to see that it's not just that quoting it. That's quoting it, so it's in your head. Now you gotta go and show and prove to yourself. You don't owe nothing to nobody, just you and your family. They're not ready yet. Tomorrow, okay, you think they're ready? Tomorrow they not gonna be like, okay, tomorrow we're gonna do this one thing together. No, it has to kind of be a flow, a movement. It's something that no one can feel or know, but they do it. Everybody does it. It's almost like, you see how when Michael Jackson would make a song and a lot of people buy it and want to hear him, they didn't plan with each other to do that. That's how it works, like that. It's almost like when you see her, right, that honey that you see, and it's like you're gonna see it on a lot. That's why I tell people, don't dwell on that one, just keep it moving, because you're gonna see another one, she's gonna be the sparkle in your eye and all that. That's how it works. Your mathematics manifests with her mathematics, and then boom. So if it might not supposed to be with them forever. You're only supposed to be with them that brief moment, and y'all do what y'all do that moment, and you keep it moving or whatever. Or you go to, some people never break up. You must be together forever. So you can go down like that too. I mean, it just depends on what's going on. It is what it is, right? But the point I'm making is that feeling that makes that happen. You don't really control that. That's on its own. So, the same way that's on its own, that's how the whole thing is rolling. Now, the reason why you can make a prediction is because just like the guard said, he said 6 days versus 1 day. So, 6 days, you know it wasn't 6 days like you see a day in this physical composition. How do you know that? Because we've been here longer than 6 days since I've known you, and we didn't see 1865 and none of that 6 day. So that shows and proves that the manifestation with each day was 1,000. And so that was 6,000 years. And it's just talking in ancient way of talking, they say day, because they know you should know that a day in a millennia is 1,000. That's real talk. And they can name it all like whatever people want to name it. A day is an eye in the eyes. A day is 1,000 years in the eyes of Allah. It's So they just trying to let you see how big it is, and really, but it's kind of like an oxymoron in so many words. If what you say is true, that one is one God and goes into anything infinitely, and then omnipotent, omnipotent, all that. So I don't even know if it wouldn't be equivalent to a day, 1,000 years. It would be more like equivalent to a blink of an eye is 1,000 years. If I was the one saying how you gonna take it to that level, because the blink of an eye, 1,000 years to the original nation is nothing. You feel me? That's what I'm talking about. All right. So now let's take it back. We gonna get all out in there, cause see that'll take you out there. But you can go out there on your own. You don't need me to take you into the anthropology and all that. Go see for yourself how long ago the Sphinx been on Earth in the form that it's in, where it looks like a Sphinx, right? That carving. How old is that carving, right? That's what I'm saying. Look at that. How old is the Wall of China? How old are those pyramids? And how old are those heads in Mexico, the Olmec heads? How old are they? Who do they really look like without being racist? Who do they look like? See, that's the kind of questions that the school system doesn't really tell our children. We call them Olmec heads. They didn't call themselves that then, in those days when they were there making those heads. They weren't saying, we're the Olmecs. No, that is not what happens. See, that's what I'm saying. They don't teach you the right side. That's what they call them. Whoever made the discoveries and this, that, and the third was able to make it in writing for this new millennia society, whatever. Okay, motherfucker, that's how it got called. We translated it to whatever. Yeah, whatever. I can't believe nothing you say when it comes to no real shit, because y'all be lying. God damn. So, it is what it is. I don't bear witness to that shit. They be lying. I gotta go see for my fucking self. You go see for yourself. Like I saw that time when Sour Shooting said he and his group went down there and saw the Olmec heads. And that just let you see, because you had seen him in the physical, and then when you seen him when he stood next to that head, how big it was. And right now, you didn't even know then. Maybe he knew, and maybe people around had been down in there. Like when I went down there with the Moors, went down there a long time ago too. I remember when the lessons was showing CN Bay and them was down there in his days. Noble Ali and all them were down there. So, that's what I'm saying from that day. When they say we the nation was down there already. You know those heads who had a body and all of that. Right? The Washita had talked about those mounds for years. I heard about it when I was around the 80s. When I heard about it, they had already had books and everything, had been around a long time. That sister, their queen, she was like 80 then. You feel me? So, like Sister Jefferson and they were already old when I met them in the 80s. They were kind of like in their 80s, you know. It's like we came in the last 20 years they gave their own their jewels to us. Whatever they had, they was giving it to us because I guess they figured they would get ready to break out to the soul plane, as they said. They going to the soul plane and they wanted us to have these blessings. I got old school shit when I was in Medina, right? And the God was like, knowledge, those wisdom. And from that point on, they already knew I had to go out back to the West Coast. That was already inside the plans. I had to get these lessons and I had to go back out there. And while I was out there, I would drop some science and then I was coming home. But I had to go back out there because I had unfinished business, things to take care of. So that's how that went. And it turned out alright. Shit, not bad. You know, I like to say I was out there and had some kind of influence in what took place, whether it was behind the scenes or in front. You know, when people don't even know who was there. When I got there, G, was a lot of people in the nation was out there because they had came from Fort Lewis. That's how they got out there. They was out there from that. So that seed got planted from all of us sprinkling whatever sprinkles we did. Because, gee, I met, to meet 12 to 13 to 15 people that got knowledge of self that same way you got it in 120 on the West Coast, and they all got there through the Army, like you, then that's some different shit. Like, how did you figure out to come here and settle here for a minute, the Army? Oh, you not from here? No, I'm from New York. Oh, you got knowledge of self in Medina, wherever we got it. That's because we couldn't say we got knowledge of self from there. We wasn't from there. Where did you get it? Where did you get this? I met people out there like that. And you know, you meet people that say, oh, I got this from the God. They all be tracing their history back, most of them. If they not coming from the Army in Fort Lewis, they coming from California. So then people came from New York and came out to California. That's how it went down. So, but that's just tracing your root in your nation. That's showing and proving your nation. Like, your nation is you, your enlightener. Who comes up in your nation, your babies, and all that. You are part of the nation. You have your own cipher too. Like each sun, see the call, each sun has a solar system. Even if it's just another sun, or it's just itself. It's its own solar system and everything. See, now, how could that be equal with a planet? A planet can't just exist in space like that. It's like a meteor. Even if it's as big as a planet, it's not rotating around the sun. It's more like a comet, a meteor, or whatever. The giant structures running through. And most comets and meteors and shit are really rotating around the sun. It's just that the rotation is so big. You might find a couple of rogue planet just flying through space. Ain't got too much life on it. I know that for sure. That's not gonna work. Just flying around like you're out of your damn mind in triple darkness. The next sun is way the fuck over there, son. You gotta be in some triple darkness to get to the next sun. What the fuck are you talking about? That shit is crazy as hell. You think that the ocean is dangerous? So think of this little tiny planet, right? And you can't even swim with your body to the bottom of the ocean. You can't do it. They got submarines that can kind of do it, get down there, but there's parts in the Pacific Ocean that a sub can't even go. So if it's that much, the environment is that dangerous on your planet. There's places on this planet that you go up high enough and it gets kind of hostile. Very hostile for the physical composition, that's for damn sure. You gotta have a medium, or you need total protection. Now that shelter and that 12 joule becomes a necessity when you start realizing you didn't need that 12 joule. You just didn't need it in the equator. Get your ass up there in Himalayan mountains, you be needing some shelter, that's for damn sure, some clothing too. So that's the real shit, that's what I'm talking about. Now you get out there in space if you want to. You think that environment is off the chain. How could the water be off the chain and the space isn't? It's gotta be way more hostile than the water. God damn, you need a sun to be traveling through that shit. That's what I'm talking about, son. So don't be thinking that Star Wars is not like that. You know, you come out better with remote viewing if you was gonna be making moves and some other shit. It gotta be some other shit involved. It can't just be no straight up, we gonna use some rocket fuel. What? You getting on rocket fuel and you going where? I ain't going with you. You probably ain't gonna make it back from wherever you going. Man, that's some real shit. How much rocket fuel you carrying, son? You gonna try to use some solar? Nah, better move would be, we got solar fuel. We gonna turn the sun's energy into something that could propel us through space and keep the vortex from sucking us in whenever we don't want to go that way. Okay. Because you should be able to, based on theory, you should be able to pilot it something like you would the ocean. That's theory, though. I ain't seen that these motherfuckers really do it. I'm just saying, let them go first. Whoever wants to do it, do it. Leave the rest of us here. Tell us how it went down. Was it good? Did you? Now let's look at you for 20 years, because some of them other people that went up too high, their body don't be right and exact when they get like 10 years. They should be having problems. So you got that coming too. And they ain't even that high. They just like a satellite type person. So do some research on that kind of shit. You see what I'm saying? Just don't take everything that the system teaches you as being actual fact just because somebody said he was a scientist and he says it's actual fact. Yeah, whatever. Find out who this guy is. Okay, I'm gonna show you some deep shit. There was these guys on YouTube of all places, and they had their video attached to the Smithsonian. So they went to school curriculum, state curriculum. They went to that. That's what the Moors would say. Oh, they went to that state curriculum and everything. Okay, whatever. They had some degrees at some university. It was some old fancy shit. Anyway, they got attached to the Smithsonian. They was trying to say everybody was a girl inside of the womb before you was a dude or whatever the fuck they was saying, right? And then, you know, motherfuckers was acting like that shit was some damn actual fact and solar fact. Because these guys on YouTube said they made a little cartoon, and then these people was like, oh yeah, that's a fact. And using that as an actual fact to like prove it to somebody, like, yo, son, let me show you the video. What? They just gonna pull out some data. No, the video says it. Oh, okay, let me look at this video. Okay, so it's like a cartoon to me. And I'm a cartoon expert, man. So anyway, I looked at the cartoon, so you know me, I'm just making this a point, is that I immediately want to see who the authors were. Who are these people? Because I'm just not taking your word on shit. First of all, who the fuck are you? That's the first thing everybody wants to know, right? Who is these motherfuckers that said this shit and got their shit attached to the Smithsonian? Come to find out, when you do research, you start finding out who the person is so you can make a determination on whether or not you bear witness to what they're saying. Who are these people? Where did their degree come from? Who made this decision? Is there an ulterior motive? See, with these guys here was an ulterior motive, but I'm just using them as a for instance to say they're modern guys with this Smithsonian that I can remember when the Smithsonian said we came from fish, so I go back. So you see what I'm saying? It's just some new shit every day. First we was some fish motherfuckers, all of us came from fish, then we was amphibians, then we was lemurs. It was goddamn, what the fuck are y'all? Okay. Based on what? They was basing on what the air particles in the cloud of blood type of stuff that you use. It's based on what it looked like as it's going through stages, and they kind of put a picture next to it and say, it kind of looks like this one here. So we're going to just tell everybody that's what our theory is, but we're going to kind of make it look like our theory is a fact, and we're going to teach it in the schools, and that shit going to be actual fact and so all that. And you telling me that ain't a religion? That's the same state religion as Darwin and all them motherfuckers, and then you got these other flat world people. They got their religion as being flat, and they kind of mix it in with the Bible and all that too. And you had those racist motherfuckers talking about manifest destiny and all that shit, and they mix that shit in with their religion and their Bible and all of that shit too. So everybody got their shit they mixed it in. Well, okay, the hordes when they came in and sacked Mecca, and then Mecca went back up there and taught them how to be Muslim, and then they all became friends and see religion. Okay. So religious could make people fight better. Something bigger than themselves. So the 10%, help that manifest. You ever see that movie Dune? See how they was helping something manifest that might have been a small legend or whatever, and they help it manifest itself. People feel it's real and they really get in it because the ancient teachings the ancient story is older than what they're making you think it is. And so that kind of ancientness in it makes it come inside of you, because it's the same way when I said you get that feeling with the procreation and food and shit like that. You don't really need the store to tell you what's good. If the store wasn't there and whatever you would see, if it makes your stomach and tongue and everything salivate and you want to eat it, then it's more than likely it's good, because you don't see a car and want to bite it. No, but you can see an apple and want to bite it. See? So in your own self, it tells you what to eat. Really, it does. You just been programmed by the system to eat shit coming out of a box, and so God knows what they did to it. And then you get high blood pressure with diabetes, and that's just what you see you got, and that's just your body trying to tell you, you gotta fix me by not eating that garbage. But you don't know, and you go to the people that gave you that garbage, and they give you some more pharmaceuticals to suppress it, and they keep you alive for a long time with their medicine and everything, but your quality of life sucks. You feel me? You can't run down the block no more. They say, oh, you just can't do that because you're old. In ghetto language, son, listen to me. Listen. That's a crock of bull. They giving you the good one, son. They passing you off. They piss nipping you. Word is born, son. You believe that? Okay, think about this. Think about J.A. Rogers, right? Right? Think about Dr. Ben and Dr. Jeffries and Henry Clark and all that. Think of those scholars. And why they had to go all out doing what they did unless somebody was telling lies and they was trying to make you see these people are lying. That's not what happened in time and history and anthropology and sociology and paleontology and the Cambrian period. Go back even to the Cambrian period. They lying. That's not. They leaving out. No, this is what they do. They omit a lot of shit. They don't straight lie to you, but it is a lie. I tell you this part, and then I mix this date with this day, and I pull a little bit from over here, put it over here, leave all this other shit out. That's lying, but you kind of fixing it more like it's not lies. The Moors say it's a truth and falsehood strangely mixed. They got that from Deuteronomy, right? Truth and falsehood strangely mixed. 120 be calling it trick knowledge, right? So it's the same thing, it's... Man, I remember when we went to school, right? We was in high school. So when you're in high school, you learning whatever you learning. But when you go to college and you start taking those subjects, even in the college, they kind of tell you that's a fairy tale you learned in school, especially if you don't go to college in the States. If you go to these universities, you're going to get the real shit. But if you just go to college, you're not going to really get the same shit they get in the university. As far as the ability to do the research that you want to do. The lab at a university is different than the lab at a college. So that's pointers you might want to look at. Of course, you can always go make your own laboratory and do your own research. You don't need them, but they have some kind of what is formal structure. It's almost like I said, how we learn Wing Chun. We learn Wing Chun on rooftops and cellars. And now that, a lot of us are learning it formal teachings. I was taught it formally. You learn a whole lot different. I mean, it's different. I gotta tell you that. It's another level, son. So if you can get a chance to learn it formally, I would. But at the moment when we would learn it, It was more like an accessory. You need to know how to fight. You got one of the best fighting techniques it is, and they're just gonna show you how to use it in fighting. You really learn form. I learned what was working. Some of the shit you was doing wrong, it's just that you was doing it wrong against people that was fighting regularly, so that's why you was able to take them down. I learned that later. Had they been like a real Wing Chun person that weren't learned it formally, they would have saw what you was doing and said, oh, he kinda got a form of Wing Chun, but I'm gonna be able to get him because he's not gonna have other parts that you're gonna have. So that's what I'm saying the correlation is. If you only got the math and the alphabets, you're gonna be great, yes. It's not gonna be the same as if you had 120. Why? Because you're not gonna understand when I say 61 is equal to 1. And I could say it, and then somebody will say, show and prove. And then you show and prove. By saying, oh yeah, 61st degree and 120 lessons is the first degree in 140. See what I'm saying? That's the show and prove. Damn, that's not tricking, that's the exercise. So you can remember the line of 120 versus each 1 to 40, 1 to 14. Because those two kind of go together. 1 to 14, 1 to 40 go together. 1 to 36 is the 1 to 36, and 1 to 10 is the 1 to 10. Student enrollment, 1 to 10, 1 to 36, 1 to 40, 1 to 14, 1 to 40. Action facts, so facts. See what I'm saying? See how they kind of bounce together that way. Like you got knowledge, you got that mathematics and alphabet. It's not really, you don't get the math. That shit really fucked up in the game. Gotta have the math and the alphabet for them both to work. For it to work good, you need the knowledge and the wisdom. You need the man and the woman for it to work good. Man, in that sense, when they say, oh, that's equality. Yeah, that's equality. Because that rotation of them rotating around each other like that makes it equality. In that sense of the word, yes, absolutely. You would never hear me say no. But then if you was going to go procreation sense, it would be knowledge and wisdom. How you was bringing the understanding? You ain't. You're going to bring it to her. And that's going to, you're going to bring her the sperm, and it's going to connect itself to the egg, and then air particles from the clot of blood are going to attach itself to a uterus wall. And that's when you understand that it's made manifest. And that's why I said, well, then when you go there, when that egg is made, you're not touching that sperm anymore. It's gone. It's not yours. It's left you. It's making the manifestation. It's you, but you don't have contact with it. But when it attaches itself to the uterus wall, she has contact with it. So in that sense of the word, who touched the baby first? She did. So that's what I'm saying. That's why they go and say she's not. When they say, she says she's not wisdom. The baby's not the understanding. It takes that position in that particular manifestation. If we're talking about man, woman, then child came third. It didn't come first. It came third. So in that sense of the word, mathematics is knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Then it's man, woman, child. Yes, but the actual degree itself is not. That's symbolism. That's symbolic. That's correlation. You bringing it together to show and prove. Because eventually that baby's going to be a child, and then it's going to be a teenager, then it's going to be an adult, and it could be in the position of knowledge or wisdom, making another baby. That's what procreation does. It just keeps going. That's why 1,000 years is nothing. That's just, you get 10 of those if you wanted to make each one 120, because each baby could have went 120, but they ain't gonna do it when they making procreation. It's about a 20-year hit between the next one and the next one and the next one. That's about as low as you get. I mean, you can get lower, but the physical composition should be at full maturity if you want to procreation. It really should be around 21 when it's completed, and now she can make another baby at its full thing. So you had 21 years of right and exact. Really, you would end up with more than that, because the sperm and the egg should have had right and exact dietary law. So that when they went together, that baby came out right and exact from the gate. And then that baby get with another baby that's right and exact. So you need a community. That's why I say this guy can't do it. You can't do it alone. So it won't work if all of humanity doesn't want to do something. Certain shit they will do, and they're all gonna eat They're going to eat. There's no way they're not gonna eat. That's why you know there's certain shit they all gonna do. They're definitely all gonna breathe. They all gonna drink water, and that kind of goes with eating. So once you say eating, they're all gonna eat. Okay, what's another one? They give it to the children. She said, everybody's gonna have shoes. That's right, everybody's gonna have shoes, baby. And, then they caught on, and everybody knew they all need a coat if they live up north, right? So, certain shit like that, you know. That extra shit is extra shit. You just threw that in the mix to make yourself look like you superior and they're inferior. But they basing it on that, then yeah, that would be a correct assumption. But you can't really base it that scientifically. That doesn't work. That just means somebody's getting oppressed and somebody's the oppressor. Just because you can do it doesn't mean it's correct. It just means you can do it, and even if you did it for 1,000 years, it's not right. It's just you was able to do it for that long. That's all. That's all it means. It ain't no plus or no minus. The people who are letting it happen, they need to break out of it. Don't let it happen to you. If you're the one that's getting oppressed, you have to get out of it. And that's why those people come. Like the father and Marcus and W.D. and Elijah and Malcolm and Martin and Marcus and Medgar Evers and all of them came for us to make. And on the white people's side, who came for them? George and Thomas and all of them came for them to help them get their shit. Everybody got who they came, got them. I'm sure in Europe they got their heroes who helped them get where they got it, and this, that, and the third. See what I'm saying? So from whose perspective are we talking about? Well, I'm talking about from our perspective. Like, what do we need to do to get our shit together? Because, damn, son, that shit is wrecked like a motherfucker. And I ain't talking about no all Americans and all. I'm talking about us, out the guard. How we gonna get our shit to the next level? We gotta take our shit, boom, take it right up. Got the high power shit. Just gotta fucking do it, like. And there's a micro of the mirror. Of the mirror, the micro is the macro. You can see it. The macro, just like the real big nation, all, as the lessons would say, 4 billion, 400 million, they can't get it together. Like, people ain't down like New York. Everybody in New York are not as what affects them. That's how they base it on. So they're not all saying, oh, we gonna make sure New York is just something simple. We're not gonna, remember how long they've been putting up signs, don't throw your trash on the floor, throw it in. They can't even do that. So, fucking how they gonna do some other shit together? They can't do that, they can't do that. Like, no, everybody don't just look for a can and throw their shit in it. They don't give a fuck. They let that shit bang in the fucking, wherever they're at, fuck it. That's what they got a street cleaner for. See? That's what the fuck they do. So that's how the world is moving. So you can't say, oh, crying about it's moving that way and wondering what the fuck you gonna do and when it's gonna get together. They ain't getting it together no time soon. I'm thinking about another 900 years of this bullshit. Because this war Armageddon is on the block. And you only 120 something years in it, if you that much, you know, from the Agenic calendar. It'll tell you just how long it is you in it. You can count from the Gregorian calendar, give or take a few around 1914. That's a key date for you. Around World War I, move on up. That's where you body in the war now. You see what I'm saying? It ain't that long. And it's supposed to be 1,000. There's 1 day and 6 days, and goddamn, they're telling you got a minute, right? So you shouldn't be saying to yourself, damn, I thought that shit was gonna happen. It could happen anytime. It could, motherfucker. It could. It says no man knows. But then all the books point more towards another 9 before man and everything on Earth is pretty much not like this crazy shit. But so now what that tell you? That, damn, well, how do I make my shit right and exact like right now? Because I can't be waiting on these motherfuckers. They're gonna take too long. Damn right they gonna take too long. They not gonna get together tomorrow. Get the fuck out of here. I remember when Ken doing them was trying to get everybody in the projects to do something together. They had some committee and they went around, they talked to everybody. They was gonna do this fantastic thing. But when it came time to do it, man, listen, it happened to be one of them Fridays came. Everybody got paid on that Friday, and the projects got paid, and everybody got paid. And that hall was empty as a motherfucker. He was talking about all the people that come. Some people came, but it wasn't a lot. I was like, see, I told you they wasn't gonna all get together for that idea. It would have worked if they all did it and nobody was crooked and everything went down right and exact. It could. And I would be the first one to say it could. I said it could. But that's a theory, and this is actual fact. It ain't gonna happen because they're not gonna do it. How about that one? And you shouldn't be thinking that they are, because they're not. Because they're not ready yet to do anything on that massive scale. You gotta be kidding me. So, what do you do when they're not ready? You be ready. You're ready now, ain't you? So get that shit ready so that next generation down have it easier. And instill in them that they gotta keep it passing forward and down. Gotta do both. Down, we say down, but it's really up. But anyway, for clarity, pass it on to the next generation. You gotta pass it on, not just your blood, but the next one. Take them. We don't do that community shit no more. That man for the motherfuckers. So until they figure that out, that ain't working. You gotta make sure that your inner circle, like you, your children, even if you only got one, you, her, and him, or her, and her, and you, however you got it, twins, whatever you got. Y'all motherfuckers be like tight. Try to do the homeschool. All those remedies work, son. The homeschool is like a key to keeping everybody in. Like, fuck these crazy motherfuckers out here. They be saying, oh, they ain't gonna know how to mix it. Oh, when they get old enough, by the time they old enough, they'll be able to mix it. Just don't shelter it. Like, take them places. So letting them outside ain't taking them places. Taking them places, we going to Italy tomorrow. Then we going to Egypt. We gonna see the pyramids. Shit like that. We gonna plan these trips. Even if you saying we just going to the Smithsonian. See what I'm saying? It don't take a lot of money. You could go to the Hubble Observatory. You could go to where you get to look at those microscopes and see those. They got places where you can go and look in the microscope. Like I said, flat world people get slaughtered when you look into a microscope or you look into a telescope. It just kills their whole shit. Especially if you look into them telescopes that go way the fuck out there. Man, son, you ain't seen nothing until you look out there, and you would know that shit they're talking is off the... Listen, I'm not saying that crazy shit that Europeans be telling us is correct either. But these scientists do be looking into space, and you can go look and see, and you make up your own idea what it's going on. Don't let them motherfuckers tell you what they think is happening out there. If they ain't moved from here like you ain't moved. Educated, yes. Man, you could go look at them ancient books like they looked and wrote these new books they got. Go look at that old shit. That old shit is way better than this new shit. Go look at that old shit and see what is already up. They got it in the museums, everything. You can take a little picture of it, all that kind of shit. Everybody got a phone now, so don't listen to these motherfuckers. They lying. They don't got none of this shit now. None of the sides are telling the truth. Go look for yourself. They lying, G, straight up and down. Now, if you go to a good school, a lot of them schools, once you hit, I want to say 15. When you hit the 15th degree, so that means 12 is high school, and then you hit junior college maybe, and you hit 14, 15. So when you hitting 16, now if you go straight from high school into a college or university, that's a better move. That means that you did. Your parents wasn't bullshit with the school you was in. Your high school is real good high school, and so you didn't have this half information schools. The public schools are like, if you make an A in a public school, that shit is only equivalent to like a C in a goddamn private school. If they're a real school that ain't playing, it's really coming out. Pretty much, that's what you got. It's because the amount of information that you're getting is half. It's cut in half. They're halving you from the gate, so, you know what I'm saying? Make me think of this cat, he was teaching Wing Chun, right? Every time he taught them, when he gave them the first degree, he only gave them like half of it. So even when they finished the whole silent town, they only had half of it. Like, what the fuck? And they thought they had the whole degree. And so that was the story was saying. He was saying he didn't want them to have more than he had or some crazy shit. Anyway, the story goes, they was using that to say that you needed to get it from a real seafood instead of some guy who only studied half of it his own self and he thinks he's a seafood, but he's really not. Of course, your homeboys, like, we learned it from motherfuckers who we knew they wasn't no seafood. They was like, I learned up to this, I'll show you what I know. And we was like, with it, you know. But it wasn't no deception, like, we knew that they, like, so I said, man, that's why we had so many different shit mixed in. We had Taekwondo, AZ and them niggas had that new Taekwondo and shit. I knew Sean Rue and all that, whatever I knew of that, we added that with that, and then Rod and them niggas had Wing Chun in 52 and shit, so, because I remember Born in them had 52, and that shit was like Wing Chun kind of to me, like they had, that was Wing Chun with a ghetto style or jail style to it, like that, like the first form of it, like Silent Tower, that's what it looked like to me, so. We added that on too, and that's why our shit was looking kind of crazy. But it worked. We only used the part that worked. Like, we practiced, and then we went out and had fights, because when we was at, you ain't having look for a fight. Trust me, son. We learned this shit because the fight is coming to you. That's how it is. You don't have to be a bully, getting in nothing. I came from that era where it is on. We just come to you and say, yo, let's throw your shit up, son. You coming across here, you gotta throw your shit up. Nah, you can't go back. Ain't no going back now. You gotta throw your shit up no matter if you going back or not. So, motherfucker had to have his knuckle game right. And that's how come we all learned how to fight. Now shit was all mixed the fuck up, because I know we had Taekwondo and our shit, Shanro, Hapkido, Wing Chun, and some boxing. Definitely had boxing in that shit, because we from the BK, nigga, we had boxing too, so whatever worked. But you know you had to make that shit look right. We would go to the Kung Fu movies on 42nd Street. Right after studying 120, go do that, okay? So that all kind of correlated together. If you look at the NOI and all that, and the Hebrews and the Chaz Nation, Mel Chesnick, all of them had martial arts. If you go Special Forces, Navy SEALs, what do you think they got martial arts? They not. With that Jewish Mossad, or whatever they call themselves. They some bad motherfuckers too. That them Russian guys, they got that art. What? Chinese ain't that. Everybody got something that is called body mechanics. How if the body does this, then it will do that. If you do this with your body, this will happen to this. This body mechanics, you practice it, and then it becomes a reflex. And so now they consider that you know how to fight. That's all it is. But like I said, you gotta have a remedy that works now. So before the children are released into this crazy, chaotic world, because eventually you gotta release them. I figure they hit around 16, they should be able to hold their own. Like, they should be able to now go out and mix, and they're gonna be the group that you controlling them in is not gonna be like the group that they controlling themselves in when they out there on their own. That's about when it goes down. So you got about your last hang on is around 14, and that's in regular life too. Even when they go to school, it ain't the same as when they go to school and they in high school, unless they in like grade school. Ain't not the same as high school. Most of you in the same classroom. High school, you get to change classrooms, so shit's different. So they introduce you to being different. By the time you're in college, you got 50 minute classes. 3 classes are full load. Everybody's going for 6 and 7 and 8. When we was coming in, you had to, unless you was working or whatever, you could take a full load and only take 3. But most of the time, we was taking 5 classes, and that's how you did it. You studied all the time. You got your A's, and it was all good. But that was the world you was in then. You in a new world now. You out here doing this regular shit. Man, listen, you better have your shit together or you gonna fall. And when you fall, you could get back up, but you use valuable time that you could have used on something else. That's the whole reason. What did he say? Dumas said it. He said it, the father said it. I wasn't there. But I know I was at the rally for them. I said, we came here to stop crime. Didn't he always say that? Well, you think he meant we was gonna go out there like the guardian angels and be trying to stop crime? No, we was stopping crime by giving these people knowledge so they wouldn't do crime. That's what the fuck he was doing. Yes, criminals is all over the motherfucking place. And it's a fact, and they all need knowledge, so. But they ain't gonna get it to see the supply and demand. Criminals is around because there's some kind of something that somebody's keeping from people that people want, and these guys are gonna make sure you get it. And that's all it is, really. It's supply and demand. You can't be doing that if you don't got no supply and demand. You think stick-up kids would stick up people if you said, here go a 40,000 a year. Now, I ain't gonna say there ain't gonna always be some kind of bank robbing motherfuckers, but most of the time, even then, you know, they was doing it for a reason. It wasn't because they just wanted to be some bank robbing ass motherfuckers. They was about getting some money. So at the end of the day, if everybody was good and whatever level they wanted to be in, a lot of these guys in the hood wouldn't be doing what they doing if they had another way of taking care of rent. People do what they do because they don't have any other way to do it. Getting what the bottom line is, they want some food. Trust me, and it's got something to do with food, clothing, and shelter for regular people. For people who are at the next level of being a 10% type motherfucker, then it's something different for them because they already got food, clothing, shelter, and books, and this and that. Now they're into manipulating the people that they think are beneath them. That still go back to that other shit that you just doing that shit because you want to do it. It ain't right exactly. That's why I keep saying I don't believe shit these motherfuckers say. Because are they lying or they not lying? But I know one thing. Most of the time they be telling lies about the regular shit that's on regular world shit. See, even the outside bear witness. They be telling lies. God damn. I mean, if you just think about it, it almost makes me think. If they got on a suit and a tie, you might have to look out. Not so much that you ain't gotta look out if they ain't got a suit and tie, because those motherfuckers be lying too, but I'm saying they not in a position that they lie changes your life. You see what I'm saying? Because they some working class motherfuckers too. But the motherfuckers who's wearing suit and ties are in a position to change your life because they could change the economics and a zip code. You a bad motherfucker, but think about you could change that economics in a state if you wanted. Okay, look, I'm gonna show you for instance. You don't think that when LeBron moves around to these different cities, you don't think the economics changes in those cities, and he's just one guy doing that with a basketball. You feel me? That's what I'm talking about. We missing that. But anyway, I'm running out of time and I'm out. Peace.